folks, how are you doing? It's been a long time since I've done a video, and I just thought, as it's New Year, it's time to do a new video. New year, new decade. And also I wanted to fill you in on a few things I've been doing since I last videoed, which was quite a few months ago. I think it must have been around about April. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'm just going to fill you in, let you know what I've been up to. Roughly about the same time I stopped doing videos, my husband and I decided to stop doing Slimming World. There were a number of reasons for this. Mainly, it was finances. See, my husband works a 0-hour contract, and because of that, it meant that our income wasn't very steady. And what with me at home looking after my youngest, it was just, you have to count every penny, and it's very difficult to plan for the future. So we felt that the 40 quid we were spending every month, it just wasn't working out. And also, one of the main problems that we found with Slimming World is, although it's really, really good, a lot of the plan is really good, it can be at times quite expensive when you're on a limited income. So we felt that long term this wasn't going to work out for us on that, for those reasons. But also for myself, it was actually not helping me mental health wise. I was getting quite depressed. I was getting triggered by going to group every week. Basically, over the summer I had a bit of a breakdown, and which is part of the reason why I didn't do any videos. I just needed some time to myself and to heal, and also to focus on my children, make sure I'm a good mummy for them. So I had a sort of difficult summer where I didn't want to see anybody, didn't want to go out anywhere, didn't want to do anything, and my poor husband had to keep trying to make me go out and do things. But I'm feeling a lot better at the moment. I'm using this time when I'm feeling good to try and get as much done as possible around the house, to catch up on things. My youngest is now at nursery, so that gives me 3 hours a day to catch up on a few things, or if I'm feeling really run down or whatever, just to recharge my own batteries, because being 2.5, he can be quite a handful. Bless him, he's he won't be little forever, and you've got to treasure these times, even the hard times. But one of the problems that I had with Slimming World was that, because it's a bit complicated in a way. I was brought up as a Jehovah's Witness, and a lot of that as a child is attending a lot of meetings, attending and being on time, and making sure you go every week, and your whole world is around the faith and religion. I managed to get away when I was 18, and none of my immediate family are in it, thank goodness, anymore. We've all managed to get out in our own way. But there was a lot of trauma there, and I've had therapy for it from time to time, and it does help. But therapy isn't a cure for anything. Therapy teaches you how to manage your condition. It does not cure you. It just gives you a toolkit and enables you to debrief yourself and help you cope with the condition, with the situation that you're in. So what I was finding, and bearing in mind I've done Slimming World off and on for a few years, I always manage to stick to it for about up to probably the first 6 months are always really good for me. And then it tends to sort of falter by the way, so something will happen, and it just doesn't work out for me. And I think I need a different kind of approach when it comes to losing weight. Obviously I've put loads of weight back on, that goes without saying, because you're not following plan anymore. But the things I think that were working against me was basically, you know, the whole turning up every week, turning up on time. You know, if you don't turn up, you're going to get charged anyway, and it seems to be an awful lot of you know, needing to pay that money every week. And when you're, you know, struggling financially anyway, and you know you've got to turn up, you know, you know, even if you don't turn up, you still got to pay that money. That puts that anxiety onto you. There's also a lot of buzzwords used. I mean, you know, I've used them myself, and sometimes because of my childhood, Jehovah's Witnesses use a lot of buzzwords in language themselves, because obviously it's a cult, and so sometimes slimming workers sound a little bit culty like. You know, it's just how the regime works. So if you're someone like me who's been brought up in a strict, high control environment, that can actually trigger those horrible memories of being in that kind of environment. So I've kind of realised for myself that this wasn't necessarily, although, you know, I've done something well before, I've never really examined why it wasn't working for me. I always just assumed it was because maybe I had no willpower, or maybe I'm just no good at it, or but because I think having things like therapy and CBT in the past, it just helps you to sort of take a step back and look at why things are happening and why you're behaving the way you are. And it teaches you to examine yourself and see where the problems are. And for me, I could see that the environment of the going to group wasn't healthy for me. Wasn't the, you know, the way it's done. I mean, they can't help that. They're a business at the end of the day. They can't help everybody individually as such. They do try. They do try. But they're not really trained in nutrition or mental health, or perhaps some of the things that I perhaps need more, that I don't feel that they could help me out in that way. And it's not that what they're doing is wrong or anything, but it just doesn't work for me. And that's important. I felt from a sort of realization point of view that I'm not going to lose weight that way, because when I'm following plan and everything else, I'm too focused on my weight. And because I'm focused on my weight, I'm focusing on food. And when I'm focusing on food, I want to eat food. You get into second wanting to overeat, because food has always been a comfort. You know, if I've not been allowed to do something, if I've not been, say for example, as a little girl, I was never allowed to eat Christmas pudding or a Christmas cake or a mince pie, because, you know, Armageddon's coming, and I'll be, you know, God will kill me, and all this, you know, because, you know, if I eat a mince pie, then I'm celebrating Christmas, and God's going to kill me, and things like that. So I sort of think a lot of my problems with food and the way I comfort eat and things like that, it is when you are free of a high control environment. I mean, I walked practically straight from leaving, or escaping from the organisation, straight into a 6-year abusive relationship, because I didn't know any better. I thought that's how men treated you. I thought that was okay. But when you start being completely free, when I left my first husband, for example, I was suddenly out there completely free. I could do what I liked. I like a rabbit in headlights, basically. And you think, right, I can eat what I like. If I want a mince pie, I can have a mince pie. If I want sweets, I can have sweets. If I no, you know, and that freedom, in the end, can trap you into, you know, into this situation where you overeat, because it's difficult to explain. Unless you've been through a similar experience, a lot of people wouldn't get it. And that's not anybody else's fault. But if you've not been brought up in that environment, you're not going to know, are you? You're not going to know how that person feels, or why they do sort of odd, crazy things, or why we get excited about this and not about that. Um, it's quite, as I say, this year I've sort of done a lot of examination, and as I say, I've been quite down this year, quite depressed this year, and through that I've been quite introspective. I mean, I got to a point where I was thinking to myself, do I go to the doctors and ask for help? Like like I've done before, and I thought I'll wait and see how things are when my little one starts nursery, um, and see if that space gives me time to process myself. And it has, actually. That has really, really helped. And also, I've sort of realised that being on my own isn't very good either. There are times when I need to be on my own. There are times when I need to process and be on my own and be myself. But there are also times when I need lots of people around me. And that's always very difficult because um, my family live quite a way away. They're sort of an hour and a half's drive away. We don't have a car. We do everything by public transport. Um, but the people that I know here, where we live in, a lot of them are very, very busy. They've got jobs. You can't expect people to run around after you. You kind of have to sort of deal with it and process it. And what's been really good for me over the Christmas period is my kids have been off. My older one, my little one, and my husband's been off, and we've all actually been able to spend proper quality time together, which we've not been able to do for a fair bit because my husband has to book his holiday off at Christmas because of the factory being shut down, and you need to have some money coming in, so he saves his holiday up for Christmas. And I've really, really enjoyed just having everybody together. We've shouting at each other and just doing all normal family things, but it's made me feel good, and I've been able to get some productive stuff done. I'm a little bit nervous about January, and everybody, like my husband, goes back to work tomorrow, and the kids go back next week, and my little one goes back to nursery next week. So we're going back to that routine again. Um, so I'm a little bit nervous about that. Um, but hopefully things will be fine, and looking, in some ways looking forward to the change, as it were. Um, Future wise of this channel, I still want to continue with the channel, because I want to. Well, obviously, I won't be doing Slimming World, so I understand if some people want to sort of poodle off and unsubscribe and everything has, if that's all you're interested in is Slimming Worldy stuff. But I'm going to be more looking at lifestyle, mental health, well-being. So I'm looking at my post-it notes here because I keep forgetting things and what have you. Looking perhaps at family budgeting, because obviously we've got to be really, really careful with our budgets. That's because up until this point, my husband's been on 0 hour contract and we've been weekly pay. But very soon, my husband is changing, where he's still going to be working in the same place, but he's going to be employed by the actual company. So that is going to be a big change for us because it possibly means that his hours are going to be a bit more regular, and he's also guaranteed a certain amount of hours, which gives us a little bit of stability. He's pretty much going to be permanent after 6 months because he's do his probation for 6 months and then he'll be permanent. But it does mean we're changing from weekly pay to monthly pay, so it's going to be a bit scary, because all of our relationship and all of our married life, we've always been on weekly pay, whether he's been permanent, whether he's been agency, we've always been on weekly pay. So that is going to be a big, big change, and a challenge. So hopefully, I might be doing some, well, I hopefully want to be doing some stuff on budgeting and things like that, and how we're going to get ourselves through the tricky period of the sort of first month we've got no pay. We've sort of asked family for a bit of help. They've helped us, family are going to help us out a little bit. I don't really want to go into that about it because that's private, but we are going to get a little bit of help that will hopefully keep us on our feet while we're adjusting to the new regime. So that, I think, is me for the time being. I can't sort of think of anything else to say at the moment, other than I hope you've all had a lovely Christmas, and I hope that you have a brilliant new year. We've got a new decade, fresh start, new challenges, and hopefully everything will go all right. But I will post as often as I can. I really want to try and do a post every day. I don't know whether I can do it, but I'm going to try. So please be patient with me. I'm glad to see that I haven't lost any subscribers after disappearing for a few months. So please, guys, thank you for staying with me. I mean, there's only a few of you, but that means an awful lot to me. So you take care of yourselves, and I wish you luck on whatever journey you're on, whether it be weight loss or lifestyle or whatever. But I'm definitely going to be trying to do things within sort of the budget way. I'm not one of these ladies with nice house and everything's perfect. Far from it. This is a chaotic household and of 5, and we've got too much stuff. I need to clear out clutter. I need to streamline things a lot. And hopefully, you still come with me on my crazy journey, and we'll be hopefully doing some posts about travelling on public transport and as a family, and how it's not as daunting as you think. With one of the things that we're doing this year is we're eating less meat, so we've been looking at meat-free alternatives, and I can talk to you about that. I might talk about meat-free alternatives. We're not going vegetarian or vegan or anything. We're more flexitarians, but we found over Christmas that we wanted definitely to, because we'd started cutting down on our meat, and then for Christmas Day, I think we had we had some bit of turkey, bit of beef, and a bit of pork. And although we enjoyed it, we weren't really that bothered. And I think we don't mind meat once in a while, but I don't think it's gonna be something we're gonna have, with every meal anymore. We're gonna sort of increase our vegetarian meals and get a really nice balance. So sorry for rambling on, but that's something else that we're doing. We've cut down on meat, and we're also gonna talk about our life without a car, because neither of my husband and I we've never even been able to afford to learn to drive, let alone have a car or anything like that. Other thing that I don't do anymore is last year I only drank a few times, and I don't miss it, so I've decided to go completely teetotal. Because I don't enjoy alcohol, and I've only ever really drunk to sort of to sort of fit in with other people, or just because everyone else is doing it. So why should I do something I don't enjoy just to sort of fit in with other people? They should just accept. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not doing it for health reasons. I'm just not drinking because I don't enjoy it. Simple as that, really. So thank you for putting up me rambling on, and again, happy new year, happy new decade. Let's get cracking and see where we go from here. Take care. Bye.